While most individuals in this world could only fuse with a single monster, the anomaly had the unprecedented ability to fuse with as many as 9.99 million monsters. The first monster he ever fused with was none other than the legendary Emperor Demon Rare, a creature born of a royal bloodline. Despite awakening such an extraordinary gift, he was still ridiculed by society, labeled a failure. The truth was, the world evaluation system was far too outdated and simplistic. It couldn't even begin to comprehend or measure his boundless potential. That's the story of our protagonist, who gained all the monster powers in the world. And our protagonist, consciousness descended into this new world. Snapping his eyes open, he found himself disoriented, still trying to make sense of his surroundings. Then, without warning, a strange message echoed in his mind. This realm was called Blue Star, a land governed by martial strength and repeatedly plagued by monstrous beasts that emerged through mysterious dimensional rifts. These terrifying creatures had already reduced numerous nations to rubble. Over countless years of war, humanity had devised a countermeasure, the beast gene system. By injecting themselves with a monster's genetic essence, humans could awaken their hidden potential and rise as powerful warriors. This, they believed, was the only hope of saving what remained of civilization. Thus, Blue Star entered a new age, an era where martial might dictated everything. At the heart of this world stood Ihei, a young man transported from another dimension. Now, he was a warrior preparatory student on the brink of his final examinations. Once full of promise, Ihei's resolve had shattered during his sophomore year when a tragic accident claimed the lives of both his parents. Since then, his training had faltered, and he fell to the bottom of his class. As he sat in silent contemplation, wondering where to go from here, the teacher stepped confidently to the front of the room and addressed the students. "All right, everyone, are you ready? We're about to start the gene modification injections. Remember, everything you've worked for over the past 3 years, building strength and cultivating martial energy, is for this moment." Then, with a sharp gaze sweeping across the class, the teacher added, "As for those who haven't taken things seriously," watching the teacher, Ihei's thoughts stirred. "This is ridiculous. I've been putting in the work. Why should I feel guilty? But since I've taken over the original owner's responsibilities, it's time to clean up his mess." Soon after, the class was led into the gene injection hall, where several sleek metal cases were arranged neatly on a table. Inside each box lay a gene awakening serum, containing raw genetic data collected from countless monsters. Upon injection, one of the monster genes would awaken within the student. In most cases, the stronger the individual's body, the stronger the monster gene they would manifest. The teacher gave a calm reminder: don't be nervous after the injection. Remain calm and accept the power. When I call your name, please come up and collect your serum. Chinong Fei, Miao, Yuna. One by one, the students came forward and received their injections. As the serums entered their bodies, their skin began to steam. Agonized screams echoed through the hall, each student writhing in pain from the genetic fusion process. Ihei hesitated for a moment. Then, taking a deep breath, he closed his eyes tightly and plunged the needle into his body. But time passed, and nothing happened. There was no searing pain, no heat, no transformation, just silence. Noticing this unusual stillness, the teacher looked over, puzzled. It seems like you're not reacting." Ihei gave a casual shrug, responding with a grin. "Teacher, did I get the fake serum or something?" Before the teacher could answer, a voice rang out. Wang Tong Tong, who had already completed her awakening, strode over smugly and laughed. "Look at this. It doesn't seem to have awakened at all. A warrior who hasn't awakened is like a bird without wings. Isn't that game over for you? But I guess that works out for you. You won't have to be a warrior and can just go home and wait to die." Wang Tong Tong had a reputation for bullying those weaker than herself. Seeing Ihei's seemingly timid demeanor, she often singled him out. Ihei was about to retort, but just then he felt a sudden, intense thudding in his chest, his heart pounding violently. Something was happening. At that very moment, A system interface suddenly materialized in Ihei's mind. Its cold, mechanical voice echoed within him. Infinite monster template acquired. Host, E. System rating B. Martial arts. 9 sets of student-level Qi cultivation. Mountain fist, hard Qiang, monster templates extracted. The words weren't just text. He could feel the data flooding through his body. Realizing something was building inside him, he quickly shouted, "Move aside." Wang Tong Tong, as arrogant as ever, scoffed and crossed her arms. "What's the matter? So what if you haven't awakened? Stop pretending. Leave. Why should I?" Ihei gritted his teeth, struggling to contain the surging energy tearing through him from within. He whispered, his voice low and ominous, "If you don't leave now, it'll be too late." And then it happened. A violent surge erupted from his body. In that instant, Ihei awakened, and the Emperor Demon Ra bloodline burst forth. A shockwave exploded outward. Wang Tong Tong, who had been standing directly in front of him, was blasted across the room, slamming hard into the ground. Most of the students nearby were knocked off their feet, some even vomiting from the overwhelming pressure in the air. Only 2 students remained unmoved, their eyes narrowing in disbelief as a single thought passed through both their minds. Is there someone stronger than me? Suddenly, the system interface updated again. Awakened A-class template. Emperor Demon's Wrath. Bloodline abilities. Azure Breath. Thermonuclear Pulse. Nuclear Energy Absorption. Evolution Form. Emperor Demon's Wrath. Template compatibility fully unlocked. Current compatibility 3%. As the mechanical prompt echoed in his mind, Ihei's heartbeat surged to its peak. A strange blue light flickered in his eyes. He looked down in awe at his own hands, watching as his fingers glowed with eerie blue energy. He whispered to himself in disbelief, "Is this the golden finger the system gave me?" Around him, whispers and murmurs spread like wildfire. Shocked students stared wide-eyed at the aftermath. Was that really Ihei? Did he just blast everyone away with his energy field in an instant? Wang Tong Tong got knocked out, and she awakened the second-tier monster, the Flame Lizard. What exactly did Ihei awaken? Feeling slightly embarrassed, Ihei scratched the back of his neck and muttered, "I guess my awakening caused a bit of commotion. I told them to step aside, but they didn't listen." Just then, the school's broadcast system echoed throughout the building. All third-year students who have awakened, please proceed immediately to the testing hall for gene awakening and martial arts level assessment. Repeat, all third-year students proceed to the testing hall. Inside the testing hall, 10 high-tech cylindrical machines stood tall, each one pulsing faintly with light. As students stepped into the chambers, a large screen above the podium displayed their information in real time: name, class, martial arts level, and the awakened monster gene. A few excited voices began to rise from the crowd. Li Yuan from our class awakened the third-tier monster bloodline of the speed blade insect. He was just an average student before. Now he's number 1 in our class. Chu Ho is definitely the top of the grade. Not only is he a level 9 martial disciple, but he also awakened the Ice Dragon, one of the strongest third-tier bloodlines. Looks like the valedictorian of our city will be him. Did you see what Miss Lu awakened? Holy crap, a rare 4th-tier bloodline, the Ghostly Phoenix. Provincial champion for sure. If a 4th-tier monster's royal form appeared, it could destroy an entire city. Regular warriors wouldn't stand a chance. Only true masters could hope to survive. Listening to their chatter, Ihei felt a wave of confusion rise within him. Wait a minute, they're all talking about 3rd and 4th-tier monster bloodlines. Then why is mine labeled as A-class? Soon, it was Ihei's turn for the bloodline assessment, and the tension in the room surged. That shockwave he released earlier. I bet he's destined to become a big shot. If he plays his cards right, he'll definitely catch the eye of someone powerful. As Ihei stepped toward the testing machine, the crowd instinctively parted to make way. In this world where strength defined status, overwhelming potential commanded respect, and Ihei, after that incredible energy surge, had earned it. Whispers filled the air. It's Ihei's turn. With the energy field he just released, his level has to be high. What kind of bloodline could cause such pressure right after awakening? This guy's definitely something. All eyes were on him as he calmly stepped into the scanner. A few tense seconds passed before the results appeared on the screen. But to everyone's surprise, the display showed only basic information. Class, 7 martial disciple level, 3 beast bloodline. Unknown. A moment of silence was broken by a burst of laughter among the students. Martial disciple level 3? My little brother in middle school could beat him. Unknown bloodline? He probably doesn't even have one. But Ahei ignored the mockery entirely. Everything was unfolding exactly as he had expected. The Emperor Demon RA bloodline wasn't detected by the primitive scanning system, but what had appeared in his interface was far more valuable. The prompt for the infinite monster template. Unlike the others, his template wasn't a single, fixed path. It was an evolving one. As long as he met specific conditions, he could extract an unlimited number of monster templates. Doesn't that mean I could become the king of monsters? With a clear plan in mind, Ihei approached his teacher to request a leave of absence. The teacher frowned in disbelief. What? You want to take leave to study at home and return after the exams? Do you really think I'll believe you'll go home and actually study? Ihei replied sincerely. Teacher, I really want to improve. I know I've fallen behind, and I need special training. If I don't catch up, I won't make it. The teacher looked skeptical. Seriously, Ihei, you do know the only way to become a warrior is by going to university, right? I understand you've awakened your bloodline, but your foundation is too weak. You won't pass the entrance exams. Get ready to repeat the year and come back next year. Don't rush. But Ahei's eyes were full of determination. Teacher, only by rushing can I improve. Maybe you don't understand, but now that I've awakened a powerful bloodline, with hard training, I'm sure I can succeed. You see the sincerity in my eyes. I would never lie to you. The teacher paused, taken aback by Ahei's resolve. After a long moment, he nodded. Your eyes do seem sincere. All right, but next year, you'll still need to return and repeat the year under my supervision. Ihei bowed his head respectfully. Thank you, teacher. Leaving the school behind, Ihei made his way toward the Warrior Center in the city. On the way, he considered his current situation. He had used his parents' house as collateral to secure 600,000 credits, and with the compensation from their accident, he had over $1 million in funds, a solid foundation. There were now 2 main paths to becoming stronger. Increase his warrior rank. Enhance the compatibility of the Emperor Demon RA template. According to the system, each monster template begins with a compatibility of 1%. But his Emperor Demon RA template had started at 3%. That raised an important question. Where did the extra 2 points come from? The only explanation was that the Gene Awakening Serum had been absorbed by the Emperor Demon RA template, boosting its compatibility by an additional 2%. This discovery revealed a crucial fact. Gene scientific serums can enhance template abilities. Compared to the slow, grueling process of physical training, using money to improve template compatibility was far more efficient, at least for him. If he wanted to gain power quickly, purchasing enhancement serums was the logical path forward. As he entered the Warrior Center, swiping his student ID at the entrance, he could feel something new stirring inside him. Since awakening the Emperor Demon RA template, he had acquired a unique perception ability, life magnetism. Now, as he walked among the warriors inside the facility, he could sense it, burning vital energy and beast roars pulsing through the bloodlines of those around him. Each one radiated life like a furnace, full of untamed power. His heart pounded, not from fear, but from something deeper. It was the urge to conquer. After all, the legendary Emperor Demon RA was once the king of monsters in their world. Unfortunately, Ihei was still a rookie, barely scratching the surface of that power. For now, he could only suppress the bloodline's combat instincts and endure the storm within. But one day, when he had gathered enough strength, the world would witness what it truly meant to become the king of monsters. Just then, a gentle hand landed on his shoulder. "Little one, don't go peeking into other people's business," a warm voice said. You must have just awakened your beast gene, right? It's normal not to be able to control your power at this stage. What brings you to the warrior center? Ihei turned around and saw a beautiful older sister smiling at him. He bowed politely. Beautiful sister, sorry. I didn't mean to. I came to buy gene serums, but this place is so big, I can't find where to go. Could you help me with directions? The woman's smile widened slightly. Gene serums? You want to use them already at this stage? Ihei hesitated, wondering if he had touched on some kind of taboo. But the woman reassured him with a chuckle. It's not a big deal. But gene serums are expensive, and they can easily lead to drug resistance, meaning they become less effective over time. To get the most out of them, most warriors wait until their bloodlines are fully developed before using any. How much does one gene serum cost? He asked curiously. At your current stage, you'll only be able to use the basic consolidation type serum. That costs around 400,000 credits. Ihei's eyes widened in shock. That's so expensive. At best, my entire savings would only buy me 5. He quickly asked, do you happen to know anyone who can give me a discount? The woman smiled again and handed him a business card. Here, take my card. On it was written, Huang Yuli, level 4 martial disciple. With an introduction from an experienced warrior, you might get a small discount, she said warmly. Ihei bowed in gratitude. Thank you. After parting ways, he made his way to the warrior hospital, where he spent 1.45 million credits on 4 gene serums. With the remaining funds, he purchased some basic warrior gear and weapons. Warriors might earn a lot, but they spend even more. In the span of a day, Ihei had gone from a comfortable middle-class student to someone living paycheck to paycheck. Back at home, he wasted no time. He carefully prepared the first injection. As the light blue fluid entered his bloodstream, a wave of power surged through him. His veins lit up like fire, his blood boiling, as if a giant beast inside him roared with joy. He continued, injecting the remaining 3 vials one after another. By the end, his system displayed the changes clearly. Emperor Demon Template Compatibility, 3% 7% Physical Constitution, Level 8 Level 15 Martial Disciple rank, Level 7 Ihei clenches fists. So this is what improvement feels like. Nice. However, he quickly noticed something. The first 3 injections increased his physique by 2 levels each, but the last one only raised it by 1. So, even with serums, improvements slow down as I progress. No shortcuts forever, huh? Still, in just a few minutes, he had achieved what would normally take 3 years of hard training. And that's just my normal physical condition. If I activate the power of the Emperor Demon RA bloodline, maybe I'll actually have a shot at becoming the top scorer in the college entrance exams. If I can't surpass those so-called geniuses, even with this kind of head start, then this boost was really underwhelming. He exhaled, calming himself. For now, I need to focus on the next step, heading into a secret realm. In this world, secret realms were categorized into 6 levels: S, A, B, C, D, and E. The higher the level, the more dangerous and the more powerful the monsters inside. In S-level realms, monsters were entirely uncontrollable. If one breached into the real world, the destruction would be catastrophic. Ihei chose to enter a 3rd-level C-rank secret realm located in his city. To his surprise, the area was almost deserted. Perhaps the realm had been explored for too long, and most of its valuable resources had already been claimed, leaving behind only low-tier monsters for new warriors to practice on. At the entrance, he signed a death waiver and received his realm entry ticket. Soon, he arrived at the rift. It was 10 meters tall and 5 meters wide, looking like a sheet of blue-gray fluid, with sparkling white particles dancing within. His heart raced with excitement. This was it, the beginning of my journey to becoming the king of monsters. With that thought, he leaped headfirst into the rift. After a brief moment of weightlessness, he landed safely on solid ground. Looking up, he froze. 3 gigantic planets hung in the sky, glowing with unearthly brilliance. Konglin Star, Anwei Star, and Taiyin Star. They floated close enough to fill the heavens, casting long shadows on the landscape, a scene straight out of a science fiction movie. Ihei stood motionless, awestruck. I've read about the appearance of secret realms in textbooks, but experiencing it firsthand is something else entirely. It was truly spectacular. As the protagonist took in the otherworldly scenery, he noticed something creeping up behind him in the grass. It was a first-tier monster, the saber-toothed rabbit, known for its violent temperament and ability to hover. The moment it leapt, it was as fast as a bullet leaving the chamber, its sharp teeth aimed directly at his jugular. However, with the Emperor Demon Ra's sensory abilities, the protagonist had already detected the rabbit's movements. He swiftly dodged and, using his momentum, grabbed the creature by the head and crushed it with a sickening pop. After its death, the body rapidly carbonized into ash, leaving behind only a thumb-sized white monster core. He picked up the core and thought, white, ordinary quality, worth about 1,000. Not bad. I made 1,000 in just a few minutes. The average person worked an entire month for 3,000 or 4,000. Still, collecting too many first-tier monster cores wouldn't help him grow fast. What he really needed was to find a second-tier monster or higher. No sooner had he thought it than one appeared. A corpse moth suddenly burst out of the ground. The protagonist chuckled to himself. Well, that was quick. He drew his weapon and struck first. He'd studied the monster encyclopedia. While the corpse moth's back was tough like steel, its underbelly was a weak point. His sword strike landed cleanly, and foul-smelling green blood splattered on the ground, leaving a corrosive burn. The moth curled up defensively, its blade-like limbs lashing out. The protagonist responded with mountain fist, his punch slamming into the insect like a cannonball. The monster faltered, but then launched its side-like fangs projectiles. Startled, he narrowly dodged. At his current level, he wasn't strong enough to deal with this monster in normal form. His martial energy and vitality were too shallow, still limited by the poor foundation of the original body. He had no choice. Emperor Demon's wrath activate. Instantly, his skin turned deep blue, sapphire light glowing in his pupils. His arms were wrapped in scaled armor, and monstrous claws emerged from his fingers. Vital energy surged through him, shaking the air. With one motion, he grabbed the corpse moth's head and crushed it like a hydraulic press. Then, with a sweeping motion, he tore the moth open from its soft underside. Now, with a physique at 21 points, the second-tier corpse moth was nothing to him. As his transformation faded, his skin returned to human color and his body steamed with released energy. Looking at the short sword he had just bought, now corroded beyond use, he sighed. 250,000 spent, and it can't even handle a second-tier monster. What kind of junk is this? Suddenly, his stomach growled loudly. The energy output from this first fight was massive, and he hadn't brought any food. But then, he smelled something fragrant. Looking at the green monster core left behind by the corpse moth, he was stunned. The core emitted a tempting aroma, and his body reacted instinctively. He needed to eat it. Without hesitation, the protagonist swallowed it whole. Inside his stomach, the hard crystal melted into a warm liquid and spread throughout his body like a wave of nourishing energy. It felt like he had just injected a gene serum. His cells buzzed with excitement, and more importantly, his compatibility with the Emperor Demon Ra bloodline rose by 0.3%. He was stunned. Just one second-tier core gave a 0.3% boost? I paid over 100,000 for one serum that only gave 1%. These cores are practically treasure. He wiped his mouth and glanced at the white core from the saber-toothed rabbit. That one should also give something, maybe even 0.1%. Realizing this, he nearly cried. I wasted so much money on those damn gene serums. But then he clenched his fists. He wouldn't sulk over spilled serum. He'd turn that frustration into fuel. Tonight, he would hunt like a madman. After a moment of quiet deliberation, the protagonist activated his life magnetism ability, extending his senses to detect the presence and movement of nearby monsters. By noon the next day, he stepped out of the third secret realm, a hefty sack brimming with monster cores slung across his back. As he walked, he thought to himself, once the compatibility reaches 9%, Swallowing more white monster cores won't increase it anymore. So the rest will have to be sold for money. Arriving at the trading post, he unloaded his haul, 20 white monster cores and 4 green ones. The clerk's eyes widened with disbelief. No way a high school student gathered this many monster cores. The clerk muttered, clearly stunned. According to the regulations enforced by the kingdom, warriors were required to turn over 10% of their monster core earnings. Furthermore, to obtain just 1 green core, a warrior had to trade in 5 white ones. Despite the steep system, after handing over his share, the protagonist managed to exchange the rest for nearly 200,000 Summer Kingdom coins. With 9 days remaining until the college entrance exam, he made his way to Insit's 4th D-tier secret realm. There, a warrior team was already assembling. One of the team members remarked, "Captain Lin, this time we should be about done with the Blood Jade Flower bounty mission, right?" The 2nd-tier warrior Lin nodded in response. "Last time we came here, we found the general location of the Blood Jade Flower, but old Chun got hurt, so he won't be joining us this time." 2 other team members voiced their concerns. "We only have 5 people now. The regulations say we need at least 6 to enter a D-tier secret realm." Lin gestured behind him and said, "No worries. I contacted an agency and they introduced us to a new warrior." The protagonist nodded silently. Since he was still a student and barred from directly entering a D-tier secret realm, he had to rely on a black market agency to provide a fake identity. It cost him 100,000 coins just to join the team. What a scam, he thought bitterly. Lenny looked over at him with a puzzled expression. "Patterzilla? That's an odd name." The protagonist responded flatly. "I couldn't use the original name, or I'd risk infringing copyright." Lenny sighed and shrugged. "Well, whatever. It's just a code name. With your martial disciple level 9 status, you don't meet the qualifications to enter a D-tier secret realm. Our team will give you the chance to observe and learn, but make sure you don't hold us back." Seeing Lin's stern expression, the protagonist thought to himself, "At least he's being upfront about responsibilities. That's more trustworthy than someone who'd throw me under the bus mid-mission." With preparations complete, the 6-person team boarded an off-road vehicle and drove straight into the rift of the secret realm. This time, the environment had changed dramatically. They were surrounded by a vast desert. Their bounty mission was to locate a rare plant known as the cow flower, which grew within this specific secret realm. This marked their 2nd venture into this realm. On their previous visit, they had discovered the general location of the Blood Jade Flower, which was guarded by a 2nd-tier monster boasting a champion-level bloodline. As the vehicle barreled across the sand, a long trail of dust curled behind them. Desert winds whipped up frequent sandstorms, obscuring visibility. The protagonist observed the barren landscape and thought, "Last time it was a rainforest. This time it's a desert." It seems that the secret realms aren't tied to a single world. Suddenly, several mole-like monsters emerged from beneath the sand, trailing behind the vehicle as if preparing to strike. Huda, a quiet but precise member of the team, responded instantly. He hurled a series of crystal iron throwing darts, each one landing with pinpoint accuracy. The darts struck the mole monsters directly in the head, the embedded martial energy seeping into their skulls and destroying their brains from within. After a short drive, the vehicle came to a halt near a small desert oasis, believed to be the location of the Blood Jade Flower. Due to the monster's acute sensitivity to sound, the team decided to proceed on foot, leaving the engine behind. As team leader, Lin took command. "Shurao, you'll release the shockwave grenade to draw the monster out. Xiao Wu and Huda set up the traps. Old Lu, you'll provide suppression fire. I'll handle the front line. Patterzilla, you stay back and observe." The protagonist nodded. "No problem." With roles assigned, everyone got to work. Shurao lobbed a shockwave grenade high into the air. It exploded with a deafening boom, releasing a wave of 2nd-tier monster energy into the surrounding area. The signal mimicked the presence of a powerful intruder, triggering territorial instincts in nearby beasts. The ground rumbled. From within the oasis, the earth trembled as if thousands of wild beasts were stampeding. A moment later, a 10-meter-long earth dragon, a 2nd-tier monster, emerged with a thunderous roar, trampling trees as it surged forward. "New guy, watch out. The monster's coming," Huda warned sharply. The team activated the traps. A thick cloud of tranquilizing gas was released, enveloping the Earth Dragon. This special compound, designed specifically for monsters, was potent enough to put a whale to sleep with a single vial. Lin had been waiting for this moment. He leapt into the air, his ton-heavy alloy sword slicing through the wind. With a single powerful strike, he decapitated the Earth Dragon, a torrent of blood spraying across the desert sand. Everyone thought the beast was defeated, until the Earth Dragon's massive paw twitched, slamming toward Lin. Fortunately, the protagonist had been on high alert. He surged forward, unleashing his full mountain fist technique. His punch landed with the force of a cannonball, smashing into the Earth Dragon's side and finally putting the creature down for good. The team stood frozen in shock. A martial disciple-level fighter had just saved a second-tier warrior from death. They were stunned. This display of raw power shattered their initial judgment, and their perception of the protagonist shifted. He was no longer just an inexperienced tag-along. He had earned his place on the team. With the Earth Dragon out of the way, the oasis was now safe. The group pressed forward and soon reached the center of the lake, where the elusive blood jade fruit awaited. This rare treasure only appeared under extremely rare conditions. It was said to cleanse the body and enhance physical potential, making it one of the most sought-after natural resources in the realm. It was almost unheard of in the open market. Just as Lin stepped forward to claim it, Huda suddenly struck, driving a poisoned dagger into Lin's abdomen. "What's going on here?" a team member shouted, stunned by the betrayal. Lin staggered and swung his arm in defense, yelling, "Huda, what the hell are you doing?" But Huda had already stepped back, easily dodging the attack. At that moment, a bald, rugged man emerged from the trees, sneering menacingly. "What's going on? Can't you see? He's obviously found something worth a fortune," the man said smugly. The protagonist's eyes narrowed. He recognized the name. "Hop," Xiao Wu growled. "He specializes in robbing warriors of their loot in secret realms. And now he set his sights on us." The betrayal was complete. Huda had been working with Hop from the start, and now they were going to have to fight for their lives. Lin Hiai, clutching his bleeding abdomen, glared at Huda and Hop, his eyes filled with pain and rage. His breath came in ragged gasps as he growled, his voice tinged with disbelief. "Huda, you traitor, how did you know about this?" Even my teammates only learned about the blood jade flower after entering the secret realm. At that moment, Ihei spoke up calmly, his voice cutting through the tension. "It was the throwing darts. You left a trail of information on them." Huda sneered. "Who'd have thought? Clever, Patterzilla, but you're still just a student, right? With the exams coming up, why aren't you studying and instead tagging along with these scumbags?" Ihei cracked his neck, the coldness in his voice as sharp as ever. "Yeah, the exams are coming up, and I've got a top spot waiting for me." Hop, furious at Ihei's arrogance, wasted no time. He launched a dart directly at him. Ihei caught it effortlessly, a mocking smirk spreading across his face. "You're barking so loudly like a disgusting fence-sitter," Ihei taunted. "Now that's arrogance so loud, I think it's time to clean up the trash." With a single motion, he crushed Huda's dart in his hand, its sharp edges crumpling under his grip. Hop, observing the scene, turned to Huda with a look of disdain. "This kid's got some guts," he said, his voice low. "Huda, I'll be taking his head." Without hesitation, Huda unleashed a barrage of darts, each one aimed with deadly precision. Ihei's eyes narrowed, the battle intent in him flaring to life like wildfire. He had become all too familiar with the deadly games played in secret realms. Quick as lightning, Ihei dodged the incoming darts, his body twisting and weaving through the air. Huda tried to capitalize on the moment, spinning mid-air and extending a sharp blade from his boots. His legs swung down with terrifying force, aiming to slice Ihei in half. But Ihei was faster. He pressed his finger to his forehead, the air around him crackling with energy. A blue beam shot out, the concentrated atomic breath tearing through Huda's chest and piercing his heart in an instant. As Huda's body crumpled to the ground, lifeless, the battlefield fell silent. Everyone froze for a brief moment, the weight of the kill settling into the air. Hop, both surprised and furious, growled, his voice laced with disbelief. "Who are you? Which powerful family do you come from to use gene techniques like that?" Ihei's cold smile never wavered as he answered. "I'm from the Emperor Demon family. Do you want to beg for mercy?" Hop, sensing the overwhelming killing intent from Ihei, realized the situation was spiraling out of his control. His blood surged, and the pressure of his second-tier warrior bloodline suddenly flooded the area, weighing heavily on everyone around him. The team gasped for air as the atmosphere grew tense. With a surge of power, Hop's body swelled in size, transforming into a monstrous, giant-like figure. His once human form was now a terrifying beast, his bloodline fully activated, his muscles bulging with power. He let out a roar and charged at Ihei, moving like a tank, his massive frame forcing a powerful gust of wind behind him. In the split second that followed, Ihei crouched low and swiftly flipped to the side, narrowly avoiding the charge. He pressed his finger to his forehead again, releasing another blue particle beam, this time targeting Hop's vulnerable ankle. With a scream of pain, Hop staggered back, clutching his injured leg. He roared in fury, his arms coming together in a crushing motion. With all his might, he smashed both hands down toward Ihei, intent on squashing him like an insect. But Ihei, with his swift footwork and quick thinking, dodged the attack effortlessly. He landed gracefully a few meters away, his eyes narrowed with determination. A second-tier warrior really is something else, Ihei thought. My atomic breath couldn't even melt his ankle bones. Hop, now fully enraged, swung his arms like massive wrecking balls, each one closing in on Ihei, attempting to crush him with his enormous hands. The ground shook with each strike. However, Ihei suddenly appeared behind Hop Hong. He unleashed his fists, now charged with intense nuclear radiation, pounding one blow after another into Ho Pang's body. Each punch injected lethal nuclear material into his system. With Ho Pang's second-tier warrior body and bloodline enhancement, he can withstand my punches, Ihei thought. But he definitely can't handle continuous nuclear magic attacks. Soon, Ho Pang's internal organs began to liquefy into pus and blood. Writhing in agony, Hop Hong glared at Ihei with hatred, accusing him of using poisonous gene techniques and cursing him, saying that evil warriors like him would eventually be punished. Ihei scoffed and raised his fist to end Hop Hong's life, thinking to himself, the number of people cursing me will only grow, but what's he really worth? 9 days flew by in the blink of an eye. It was now one of the grandest days in the Summer Kingdom, the day of the National College entrance exams. Before a nationwide live broadcast, the host addressed the candidates. He first wished them success, then explained the rules. The exam was structured as a tournament, held in the Central City Sports Arena. Students would compete in pairs. The winners would advance to the next round. The entire event would last 3 days. The first 2 days were for the preliminaries, and only those who advanced would be eligible to take the final exam on the third day. Each student had to fight 3 matches in the preliminaries. Those who made it to the finals would continue competing until the top scorer was determined. The host reminded the candidates that they carried the future of humanity on their shoulders, urging them to showcase their strength for both themselves and mankind before officially declaring the start of InCity's college entrance exams. As the host's voice faded, the candidates began stepping onto the various arenas. On Arena 6, the match was scheduled between Ihei and Wang Tanong. However, at that moment, Ihei still had not arrived. The host announced that, according to the rules, if Ihei wasn't present when the match began, he would be disqualified. Wang Tanong stood on the arena, smug and satisfied, thinking to herself, "The Gene Conference made me lose face, a shame I'll carry for life. I was planning to humiliate Ihei with my flame lizard, but that pathetic fool is hiding and won't show up. How disappointing." The audience murmured among themselves. How pathetic. He's too scared to even show up for the exams. He's probably hiding at home, trembling. Someone like him shouldn't even be in high school. He should be sweeping the streets. At that moment, the referee blew his whistle and began to declare, "Time's up," in City First High School's Ahey. Before he could finish, the crowd suddenly felt a powerful presence approaching. Everyone looked up, shocked to see a figure in the air. "What kind of immense power allows someone to fly like that?" someone in the crowd whispered. As debates buzzed through the audience, the airborne figure landed on the arena with a tremendous impact, shaking the entire platform. When the dust settled, Wang Tunong stood confused. In the very next moment, a foot slammed into her face. Wang Tunong was kicked off the stage in one clean blow. Ahey watched her fly off the platform and muttered, "That was close. Almost had to come back next year." As Wang Tunong lay unconscious outside the arena, the host loudly announced, "Ahey wins." Ahey scoffed and said, "That's it? This was too easy." The audience erupted in disbelief. Ahey is seriously strong. One kick and his opponent was done. The way he entered was so cool. Is this what they call a kick from the heavens? At that moment, the system display lit up. Ahey's total physique, 226. Compatibility, 20%. Ahey grinned and said, "As a thank you, Captain Lin gave me the blood jade fruit. It took some time to improve my physique, but now you're about to see some real action." After defeating Wang Tunong, Ahey continued his matches. 3 fights, 3 wins. Each opponent was taken down with a single kick, no hesitation. The audience roared. Ahey is like one kick man. As expected, the host announced, Ahey from City First High School, 3 wins in a row, advancing to the 3rd round. Down in the stands, a crowd gathered around Ahey. Some were asking for his contact information, others recommended their schools. A reporter asked, "Ahey, do you have a dream university in mind?" Ahey's eyes lit up. He confidently replied, "Sorry, I'm aiming for Huadu University." Upon hearing this, the crowd around him suddenly scattered. He sighed and said, "What? You don't believe me?" Then, with a chuckle, he muttered, "Can't blame them. Huadu University, the best martial arts college in the Summer Kingdom, and one of the top 5 in the world. It was a holy land for all warriors. For cities like in City, only top scorers could earn entry into such a place." But it's fine, Ahey thought. Martial artists are judged by strength. Once I become the top scorer, we'll see what they say. At that moment, an examiner, having noticed Ahey's overwhelming performance, approached and requested a retest of his martial artist level. After a quick scan, the examiner's face turned pale with shock. Just half a month ago, he was martial disciple level 3. But now, level 9.